What's up, YouTube? We've got our best one yet for you guys. That's right, our big trip that we have been talking about since day one of coming out with our channel is finally here. Our big family road trip to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for the baseball tournament. We are headed down to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for the Cal Ripken Experience tournament down there. We've been talking all the time about whether or not we were going to be able to fit everybody into the car, including all the stuff that we have to bring. Let's see how we did, huh? So as you can see, guys, we've got the entire trunk fully packed, just like we did for our Big Busch Gardens trip. The sub trunk down there, fully packed, stocked to the brim down there. Up in the front, up front, fully packed as well with food. We left no space without stuff in it. In fact, we ran out of space. So this is like all of our clothing. This is our beach stuff. We've got food up in the front. Under there is kind of little odds and ends. We had no place to put all the baseball gear. So what we had to do was we expanded on the back. Michelle did a bunch of research to determine what's the most efficient way of expanding storage and found rather than putting a roof rack up top and putting a cargo box up there, that created a ton of drag, which really reduces the efficiency of the car. She found that these on the back, these little cargo trailers that go on the back, that these are actually the most efficient way of being able to add additional storage. So we bought one of these. It's attached to our hitch right down there. We'll go ahead and we'll drop a link down in the description below. We just picked it up off of Amazon. And this one actually came with this weatherproof bag that goes on there. It's the exact size of the cargo unit itself. All of our baseball gear is in here. We tightened it all up, completely weatherproof. It's got full zippers. It's got Velcro keeping it down. And then we went ahead and we ratchet strapped it down here to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And now it is good to go. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm a little bit on the nervous side when it comes to this this thing back here. We did get everything packed in there, and I think we're looking pretty good. So let's go collect the family, let's get everybody loaded in, and let's hit the road. All right, guys, so here's our trip. We are headed to Smithfield, North Carolina, where we're gonna be spending the night there. 432 total miles. We've got 2 supercharging stops along the way. We're stopping in Springfield again, like we did for our Busch Gardens trip. We'll be at 31% when we get there. Then we're gonna charge up for 15 minutes. We'll charge up longer than that. We're probably gonna grab some dinner and stuff. It'll be 8 o'clock when we get there. Then we're gonna stop in Petersburg, Virginia. We'll be stopping there and charging up for about 25 minutes. And then we're gonna head to the Hampton Inn, where there is a charger, which is why we selected to stop there. We should be at about 14% by the time we get there. Hopefully these numbers look a little bit better. We'll see with the cargo trailer we have on the back. Total trip, we got about a little over, just under 8 hours in total. 432 miles for the entire trip. And we should be arriving there a little after 12:30. All right, we got everybody in the car. Michelle's on board. Tyler's on board. Mason's on board. And Brandon again is back there somewhere. Hello. Let's start the journey.
Let's do it.
20 minutes later.
We're currently sitting in traffic.
It's rush hour.
My biggest issue with all of this is obviously I have some range anxiety because I mean we've done road trips before, so I don't have range anxiety about the road trip necessarily. My issue is that carrier in the back and what is it going to do to our overall efficiency and whether or not we're going to make it. Now,
I'm not as worried because our first stop, we're supposed to have 31% left. So I feel like even if it does drop, we've at least had enough time and we can figure it out for the rest of the trip.
But that 31% has already gone down to 26. So we stopped at Wawa, we picked up, you know, some coffee and some snacks and stuff. When we left Wawa, it was saying we would arrive at 27%. So that's like our benchmark. Currently, now we're about 45 minutes into our trip. And currently it's saying we're gonna be at 25%. So we've already gone down 2. It's still not bad, but I'm definitely a little uneasy about the whole thing. I don't know. I'll definitely feel a lot better once we get to the first stop and I can kind of see how much it kind of plays with, because then I feel like from there we can kind of plan, you know, if we don't think we're gonna make it somewhere, we got to put another stop in, we can do that. We also typically charge up more than we necessarily have to at the stops too, which I think will also help us as well. As far as the full self-drive, I got an alert 2 different times where it said could not navigate on autopilot due to poor weather conditions. and it turned off the navigate on autopilot feature, and it just went to regular autopilot.
But it did turn it back on as soon as the rain cleared. It actually automatically turned it back on.
So I gotta say, driving with that cargo thing on the back, now there's not a lot of weight on it. We at most have maybe 100 pounds on it.
Yeah, the other thing is it's recognizing the trailer on the back on our avatar.
So I think, I'm not really sure. So we're getting this image where it shows like these little lines, like little wings almost, off the back of the car. And I don't really know what they are. I've never seen it before. If you guys know, if any of you know or have seen an update as far as what that is, drop a comment down below and let us know. My thought is it's like a display that's showing the sway of the carrier that's in the back, but I'm not really sure. If any of you guys know, drop a comment down below and let us know. But that's kind of cool that it recognizes that we got the hitch cover off, we've got something hitched on, and it's kind of showing that. I am a little concerned now how that's going to work with the supercharging. Because normally you have to back up into the superchargers, and that thing hangs off the back by a good, like, 3 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, even coming out of our driveway, when we came down, it hit. So I'm a little curious to see how that's going to work at the superchargers. Hopefully the pull-in straight superchargers are open. If they're not, we're going to have to figure something out. I don't know. More traffic. Boats. Boats, 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 boats. Boats, boats, boats. Back to the road trip.
Like thunder gonna shake the ground. Help me down, I got.
He doesn't get you sometimes.
Yo, this was your idea!
So we are about halfway through our first leg of our journey on our way to our first supercharger.
We're more than halfway. We're about 2/3.
Say that again?
We're more than halfway. We're about 2/3. We're 2 states in already.
We're in between a halfway and 2/3. And here's what we're looking at. We started out where we were supposed to be at 27%, and we're now forecasted at 23. So that's actually not that bad. My range anxiety is pretty much gone. Clearly there is a little bit more usage than what is anticipated and forecasted originally, but it's not by too much. That's actually not that bad, especially if we charge up more than what it's technically asking us to. Range anxiety's coming down some. At least I know we're gonna get to the first stop without a problem. And yeah, I think we're doing pretty good so far, huh? What do you think?
I agree. Here comes the nice water and bridges.
Here's a shot of some nice water and bridges.
Oh, I lied.
She lied.
It's a building.
We are about 30 minutes from our destination, and we're still sitting at about 22% is what's left. Just for those people who are wondering, that's how our situation is out back. It's holding up pretty good. It's doing pretty good out there. It's all doing pretty well. The full self-drive has been nailing the lane change. It's been doing a good job of finding opportunities where we can get over and maybe go a little bit faster and get around some cars, and then, you know, get back over it when we're good. Like, I'm actually pretty impressed with the lane change ability. It's not worth $200 just to have that a month, or $10,000 just to have that, but I'm actually pretty impressed with how it's been performing.
I agree. I really like the lane change too. I like that you can just hit it and it does it for you. But I don't know that I would pay $200 again to do it. I really want to try this summon feature.
Oh, I did that. That was in the last video. Smart Summon works pretty well. I still think it's just kind of like more of a party trick than it is like, I don't know if I would trust it in like a crowded parking lot at like a mall with lots of cars.
Right, which would be my whole purpose. If it's pouring rain, I'd really like it to come find me.
Right. I feel like that's the only real world use of that feature. Here's what our consumption looked like for the first leg of the trip. The one and only pull forward supercharger that was here was already occupied. Michelle got out, she kind of guided me in to see how far back I can go. The front of the car is a little hanging out, but it's okay. Technically, we have 20 minutes where we need to charge back up. We're gonna let it charge a little bit more than that. We are gonna go ahead and head inside the mall, grab some food. Hopefully something's still open, and then we'll head back on the trip. This is about as far as we could back up here without clipping the curb. We are a little bit sticking out, but thankfully there was one of the reverse side, so we were able to back into this one in order to hop on there. It kind of worked. So we got a lot of space back here, but you know, the front end of the car is hanging out just a little bit. It's not too bad. It's all right. The good news is we're gonna arrive, we don't have very long till our next stop. Our next stop is gonna be in Glen Allen, Virginia. It doesn't have very long to go. When we get there, we should be at about 60% battery. So that's an easy one. It's only about, was about 2 hours away, hour and a half, something like that. And it's a short stop for a quick charge up. All right, guys, we are at the Charlottesville, Virginia Supercharger station. So far, so good. So we got a few more minutes to charge up still, and then we can head on to the road. We've also been doing fairly well with our cargo carrier here on the end.
We had to add something else in.
We did, but it made life really easy just kind of adding stuff on and getting extra room out of the Y by just throwing stuff back here. And it's been driving really well with no issues. Not much sway, not much drag, not much anything kind of going on. So make sure to watch until the end to see our full comprehensive review of the cargo carrier. So far, so good. I'm pretty impressed with it, actually.
I'd just like to say you wouldn't have any content without me. We go on all these trips because
this
of me.
guy. It is the next day. We are back on the road. So when we left Charlottesville, it was supposed to be a direct shot right to Smithfield, North Carolina, where our hotel was. However, after being on the road for about 10-15 minutes, it started to give us speed warnings. We were like, okay, well, we need to find a place to charge along the way. So we found a supercharger that we added on our own to stop at. We only stopped for about 15 minutes at most. We got to the hotel at about, it was about 1:45 a.m. We headed in, got a good night rest, woke up, ate some breakfast, and back on the road we are. So we are supposed to be doing a direct shot straight to Myrtle Beach. So it was supposed to be a 3-hour drive from the hotel to Myrtle Beach. There's about 2 hours and 37 minutes left on our drive. And we are estimated to have about 25% battery left by the time we get there. I do gotta say, the Kingbird cargo trailer on the back has been absolutely fantastic and a lifesaver. So it's enabled us to kind of get a lot more leg room in here. For example, after our overnight stay, we put all of our pillows in there because there was extra room. We put the blankets in there. So now everybody has a very good amount of leg room. So it's worked out really well. Highly recommend. Great job, Kingbird. We are coming up on the border of North Carolina and South Carolina very shortly, and I'm already starting to see the signs for one of my favorite places growing up as a kid. My mom and I used to drive to Walt Disney World all the time from Philly, and I always knew that we were about halfway when I started to see the signs for south of the border. You start seeing all the Pedro signs everywhere, things like that. Whoever you guys are at south of the border, brilliant marketing campaign. Every like quarter mile or so you start seeing another sign for Pedro and like a stop there and everything else. One of the classic places to stop when you're on a massive road trip. Unfortunately, we got to get off about 10 miles before, but this is what I'm talking about. See that one right there? Pedro's West Shop. And then in another little bit we'll see another helping people relax. There's Pedro in his hammock south of the border. There's another one right there, right after it, right there. And every time, even still today, we do this drive, I start seeing those, I'm brought right back to my childhood. Nice work, south of the border. So I'm convinced that the little wings that are showing up on the end of our avatar are sensors trying to sense where the car needs to be in the lane because it knows something's on the hitch, and it's trying to gauge where that zone is of where it could be an issue. That these little wings right down here are sensing, like the red is sensing, you know, you're too close to something because something's on the hitch. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's what I'm convinced that it is.
Agreed.
Somebody's busy working over here. This leg was apparently too long for some of the members in the vehicle, such as that empty spot, and the empty spot in the back that you can't really see anyway. So let's take a look at our energy consumption as far as where we're at so far. This is that leg that we're currently on. We're estimated to be at about 25% by the time we get there. This is where we are right here. We actually did pretty good, and then we started to deviate from the forecast here. We're currently at 47%. We're expected to be at about 25 by the time we get there. In terms of our consumption, here's what we're looking at. We're at an average of 333 watts per mile. LockettTech has arrived at Myrtle Beach. Let's go check it. So we've come to our decision point as to what are we going to do.
This is what happens when you've been in the car for almost 12 hours.